Good morning. My name is Samantha Weaver, Research Scientist, attached to the Biotechnology and Plant Genetic Resources Department. Today we'll be discussing plant tissue culture, specifically for pineapples. All this means, simply put, is using tissues from our plants and producing copies of those plant material in vitro, whereby we produce disease-free plantlets for farmers on a large scale. Today we'll discuss the stages in details. Today we have with us Ms. Griffith.
So what we would do in the tissue culture department is that we would source pineapple prongs or side slips from farmers. We would bring them into the laboratory and we would remove the outer leaves to expose the prong. So after we would have removed the outer leaves of the prong, we would have exposed the tiny buds here that we would remove and place into a nutrient media. This is what the buds that we would have removed from the prong would look like after we would have placed them in vitro. We would leave these buds in the nutrient media for a period of 4 to 6 weeks. We would look for the breaking of the buds. In some cases, you would see some of the buds who remain dormant and others will germinate. After we would have left these buds in the nutrient media for a period of 12 weeks, this would be 3 cycles, the plants would begin to shoot clusters. At this point, what we would do is that we would remove the smaller ones, place them back on a nutrient media for further multiplication, and we remove the big ones and we place them on a media to transfer them over to the greenhouse.
This is going to show us the subculture stage of pineapple micropropagation, where she's going to separate the cultures using sterilized equipment. Each culture she will then separate to multiplication media to encourage rapid multiplication in vitro. Rapid copies will be made on a monthly basis before we put them into rooting to allow for breeding of these plantlets for our farmers. This stage is very important because this stage encourages mass production of our pineapple cultures. After she would have separated the cultures, these cultures will now be placed in new culture media that will be sterilized. Once she sterilizes the containers, she will then add fresh culture media. Now this media contains plant growth hormones and micro and macronutrients that plants will need to grow in the laboratory. After flaming the container, she will then seal it to prevent any contaminants or bacteria or any foreign material from entering the container. These jars will then be placed in our bioreactors, where there will be temporary immersion or turning of the material to allow multiplication in the laboratory. After this stage, we will then label each container with the variety that was used, for example, Montserrat, and the date that the variety was placed into this container. This container will be left in the lab for 1 month, and then once that 1 month is finished, we'll then continue the process monthly. After which, we'll then put the plants on rooting medium, which will be in these culture bowls. Once roots are observed, we will then use these plantlets, wean them in our greenhouse to provide for farmers disease-free plant material.
My personal experience starting pineapple was a tissue culture plant from Narei, the first 700 tissue culture plant from Narei. And I had a personal experience where I had zero disease problem with the scarlet tip. And so that alone can speak volume, starting with 700 plants and managed to establish a 70-acre pineapple plot from 700 plantlets, all from Narei Tissue Culture Lab.
For more information on tissue culture pineapples, feel free to visit us at our tissue culture department here at Narei, or you can contact us on our phone numbers.